Hi, I'm Susan Patang from the Quiet Zone Coaching, and I'm back with part 5 of my series on how can I find happiness. This part is about building self-esteem and self-confidence. And there's a difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. Self-esteem is what we think about ourselves, inward facing, how I feel about me. Self-confidence is what we project to the rest of the world. Um, so that's outward facing, and self esteem is inward facing. The problem that can arise is that sometimes we're very good at showing that we're self confident, outward facing, but we really don't care much for ourselves or the way that we function, and we're always belittling ourselves and putting ourselves down. Or to the other way, we may have a very healthy self-esteem and really not be able to show it to other people because we're not confident about our speaking capabilities or our communication skills. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit today is more self-esteem, but this also helps to build self-confidence, both ways. So the first thing that I want to suggest to everyone is to monitor your self-talk. And how many times do you think to yourself, I stink at this, I always mess this up, I'll never figure this out, oh, I'm so stupid, can't I do anything right? How often do we do that? Okay, and I confess I do it sometimes too. What we need to do is turn those messages around because our subconscious is going to believe what we tell it. Okay, so instead say things like, oh wow, I made a mistake, I'll get it eventually if I keep practicing. Or, oh, wow, it seems like I forgot to do something. What is a way that I can remember how to do it in the future? So we're taking that, if you remember the past sections on the power questions and also working through our negative emotions, we're turning that thought around into something positive. We're reframing it into something else. So be solution oriented with yourself, be positive with yourself. Make sure that you remember to pat yourself on the back when you do something right. Tell yourself things like, hey, I really did a good job with that. Hey, good for me. I remembered, I did it right. Um, when you're faced with unpleasant tasks, instead of telling yourself, oh gosh, I hate doing this, this is awful, I hate doing this kind of thing, I hate going here, I hate doing this, I don't like this part of my job, I don't like this chore. So instead of thinking that to yourself, think, wow, I get to do this so that I can learn something new. This is part of my job, and I'm really grateful that I have a job that brings me in an income. Um, think about the way that you would speak to a friend. Okay. So if you had a friend who was saying, oh, wow, I really can't believe I messed that up. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? What would you say to that friend? Would you say, you dumbass, you shouldn't have done that? Okay. But that's what you say to yourself. Okay. So instead of talking to yourself in a negative way, talk to yourself in a way that is supportive and loving, just like you would speak to a friend. Okay. Or somebody you care about. Another strategy for taking care of your self esteem is to practice self care. And I don't just mean physical self care here, too. I also mean mental and emotional self care. So give yourself the things that you need or you want. So self-validating is important, being self-validating. So instead of counting on other people to give you positive strokes and pats on the back and recognition, give it to yourself. Um, hey, I did a really, really good job on that report. Good for me. Write it in your gratitude journal. That's what part of the gratitude journal is for, is not just to write down things that that you can be grateful for, things that are wonderful or amazing and awesome in your day, but also things about you that are wonderful and amazing and awe-inspiring, and things that you can be grateful for about yourself. Okay. Every day, and this is also part of practicing self-care and building your self-esteem, is journaling. Doesn't have to be a book that you write every day. You can just write down a couple of little things. You know what? I really like the way I did my makeup today. I really think I looked good today. You know, I noticed my hands. I really think my hands are beautiful, or my nails look great, or the clothes that I'm wearing today, I made good choices because I'm very comfortable. Pat yourself on the back. Make sure you do that a lot. You should be responding to yourself in the way that you respond to a loved one. Um, Another thing that you can do is to use positive affirmations, which is a lot of what we've just been talking about now. But there's a difference. A lot of mental health professionals advocate using, for self-esteem building, using positive affirmations, and that's wonderful, except they don't work. If you use a positive affirmation, let's just say, you know, I can do this, I could do this, and you're telling yourself how much you can do it. It's not going to work because you don't believe it on a subconscious level. So yes, affirmations are wonderful, but they have to be based in reality. Okay, so let's just say, for example, that you wanted to, your goal is to be a kind, compassionate human being. This is one of the values in your value system. Okay, and I want to be this kind, compassionate human being. So what you have to do is you have to do kind and compassionate things and create your affirmation around that. So I want to be a kind and compassionate human being. So you go out and you hold the door open for someone, or you smile at a stranger. And now you could say, I just did that. Look at the great job I did. Pat on the back. I am a kind and compassionate human being. Look at that. I proved it. Because your subconscious will sabotage you if you don't have something to back that affirmation up with. Okay. Personal experience, I can tell you. Um, Another thing that you can do is, when you're creating affirmations, create them from the smallest of things. Okay. I did a really good job putting together this binder today with all these notes in here. Well, I did a good job getting out of the car in the ice. I didn't slip and fall. I did a really good job driving to work. I didn't speed once, and I didn't cut anybody off. Or I got to work without being irritated at the other drivers on the road. Pat myself on the back. Good for me. I got everything I needed at the store, and I got out of the supermarket with a smile on my face. I didn't get agitated. Good for me. Pat on the back. Look what I did. I'm good at that. I'm good at going to the supermarket. Practice using affirmations that are based on real life events, no matter how small, okay? And write them in your journal. Also, you can also bring up the power questions that we talked about in another video. So, what is something positive and constructive that I can do about this? Use things that you would normally beat yourself up about. Use them in a way to teach yourself something about you and self-discovery. So, okay, I made a mistake with that. We just mentioned that before. How can I fix it? How can I prevent myself from repeating it again? What can I learn from this? What is something positive that came out of this? What kind of person do I want to be? And I behaved the way that I want to be. Pat myself on the back. Okay. This builds your self-esteem and the way you feel about yourself based on real behaviors. Your subconscious can't argue with that. I look forward to seeing you at my next video session. Number 6 is going to be about communication, conflict, and criticism. That's going to be a big one. So please join me. And again, if you feel like you would like to find out how to apply these strategies to your own life to discover a better way to happiness and stress management, feel free to visit my website, thequietzonecoaching.com. Sorry. And I look forward to speaking with you on a discovery call so we can see what's going on in your life and how I can help you get where you want to be. Until next time, thanks for attending. Bye-bye.